Suppose this is Vedic period, later Vedic period, Mauryan. I'm splitting here Mahajanpadas, okay, don't get confused. Mauryan period, post Mauryan, Gupta, and the post Gupta. Okay, so this Vedic period, now as we talk about the barter system, the barter system is being evident in the Indus Valley Civilization also. But after Indus Valley Civilization, we see a complete stealth period, okay, where there are many of the debates that it was a period when Aryans invaded Indian subcontinent, or we started our own civilization, Sindhu Sabhyata, okay. So there are a number of debates, okay. So here the guild system majorly started, okay. The guild system although started from Indus Valley Civilization, but on the major basis it started from the Vedic period, okay. And when this guild system had started, it started in a very informal manner, that is, there was no evidence of the government participation in this kind of system, okay. Government don't used to participate, because if we see the Vedic period, okay, there were grams, okay, and there was a centralized authority of the king on this grams, okay. So this is completely away from the structured polity of the ancient India, okay. So during the latter Vedic period and during the Mauryan period, we will see that the guild system became or started to become more structured, okay. It started to be converting into the structural way. Why? Because we'll see that during the Mauryan period, okay, during the Mauryan period, especially during the Chandragupta Maurya, okay, and Ashoka, okay, if you imagine, okay, if you imagine the map, okay, that they concentrated, okay, they concentrated on the Uttarapatha and the Dakshinapatha trades, right? So the Uttarapatha and the Dakshinapatha trades were being majorly focused by the Chandragupta and especially focused by the Ashoka. Okay, so during the Ashokan period, we'll see that the trade and commerce as and when grieves, it becomes more structured. Why? Because the government interferes in these subjects now. Now, during the Vedic period, the government participation was away from all this, okay. But during the Mauryan period, we'll see that the government is interfacing in this, okay. And during the post-Mauryan and the Gupta, it will flourish in the more way. So if you see the political analysis of this period, okay, the polity is growing, then again declining, growing, again declining. But if you see the guild system, it is continuously growing. Okay, the traders and merchants are continuously growing. Why? Because they were given the autonomy by the king itself to decide on the developmental path or the road maps that were being designed for the trade and commerce relations. Okay, so that is why you will see that many of the texts during the ancient India would be talking about the guild system. Now what they are talking, let us see. Okay, now the association of the merchants and the artisans are known as the Shreni. So Shreni is being firstly calculated in the Rig Vedic text. Okay, and now the Shreni is meaning the way or the way of life that this particular people are living. So throughout their life, they are having the trade related activities, and in fact their whole family is carrying out this trade activities according to this Vedic texts. Okay, now the Panini, okay, the Panini text, okay, talks about the samsthana and the samsthanika. Now what is the samsthana? Have you heard the word Sansthan? Okay, if you visit any of the tourist place or any of the pilgrimage, okay, so you will hear about this word Sansthan. So what is Sansthan? It is an organization which decides on that particular region, the economy of that region, the well-being of that region. Okay, so this is Sansthan. Okay, and similarly it was previously called as a Samsthana. Okay, so the Samsthana were the commercial guilds. Now, who are the commercial guilds? These commercial guilds are the guilds who would be getting the transactions for their profit making mottos. Okay, they won't be giving their produces in a very cheaper pricing. Okay, now if they are, if this artisans or if this traders are giving their own produce in a very less cost, so they would be giving it to the kings, right? But if they are very commercially minded people, they would be generating the higher profits and they would be doing it in private basis. Okay, so these are the samsthana, that are the commercial guilds away from the government. Okay, and the one who heads this samsthana are samsthanika, the member of the guild. Okay, beyond that, the Ramayana and Mahabharata talks about the Shreni word. Okay, we have been knowing about every of the event of the Ramayana and Mahabharata. So if you revise some of the stories from the Ramayana and Mahabharata, you would be noticing that the Shrenis have been dictated in the stories. Now it is not only in the Hindu text, but the Shrenis are also being presented in the Buddhist text as well. Like for example, in Jataka Tales. Okay, Jataka is the Buddhist tales or the stories. Okay, so here the Jataka Tales also talks about the Shrenis. Okay, and another text, that is Ukkatha Karma. Okay, the same Buddhist text talks about the Shreni. Okay, after that, during the 5th century, the Gautamadharmasutra, okay, is the first one with the evidence who talks about the guilds. Okay, it gives the clear evidence, the real time evidence which talks about the guilds. Okay, so he talks about the coinage, the inscription where we have the guilds, okay, presented. Now what are the types of the guilds? Now this, see here in the guild system, okay, for example, this is guild system. Okay, this is the system, and in this system there is one particular head. Okay, and there are other members who are following this head. Okay, who are following this head and generating the profits and the trade activities. Okay, so these are the small members or the traders who would be coming from their village, okay, and trading it to the interregional or the international trade. Okay, and this is the person who would be deciding upon the pricing. Okay, this is the person who would be deciding on the pricing. He would be deciding upon the quality. He would be deciding upon the quantity. Now, can you relate his functions with the present day functions of SEBI? Okay, can you relate some of the functions with respect to the present functions of RBI? Right, now in present date, RBI, okay, controls the inflation. How it controls the inflation? By changing the pricing mechanism. Okay, the bank rate, RR, repo rate. Okay, so what are all this? It is controlling the pricing mechanism. Okay, now the similar case was being followed during the ancient India. Okay, to maintain this guild system. Okay, so all this guild people would be headed by one particular person who would be working in the full autonomy. Who would be working in the full autonomy without any state interference. State interference. Got it? So here that particular guild ka head was completely free to decide, to brainstorm on what kind of decisions are significant for running this whole system. Okay, so here the larger one, okay, the larger one was called as the merchant guilds. Okay, now this larger merchant guilds ensured the quality control, facilitated the trade, significant power in the community. They had the significant power in the community. Now the next is the crafts guild. Okay, so who were the crafts guild? They trained the weaving, metal work and the pottery. Okay, the professional guilds, so these were the physicians, scholars and other professional who followed the specific code of conduct. Why? Because their work was quite scientific in nature. So in order to avoid any kind of harm to the society, they had to follow some kind of code of conduct. Now all this kind of, now I have represented this in completely English language, but there are some of the essential keywords for all these people. Okay, merchant guilds, craft guilds and the professional guilds. So what are the